Hello all. Okay. Okay, so let us start. So first of all, welcome you all to this wonderful platform of Harak coaching classes. Today we are going to learn about something called, so recall that we were doing arithmetic progressions, and in the last lecture we have seen about what is mean by an AP, right? And I've seen that basically this is the general term of the AP, right? Now, see what happens is, let me give you some motivation about the topic. So basically, when we have, let's say you go to a market and you are purchasing something, so then there are various prices you have, right? And you want to actually add, so they are in definite order. Suppose the prices are in an AP and you want to know that if I bought, let's say, 100 items, then what would be the actual total of the items. Then what could you do? The one step is to basically use simple addition by addition principle, such that you can simply add up the equation, you can simply add all the values and reach to a conclusion. But just think of that direction, that if you have multiple numbers, large values, let's say 100, 200 values, there is a huge bill you have purchased. So then basically the the method of addition by order doesn't work much, right? But the thing is that there must be some kind of formula so that we can actually add the numbers. Or let's say think in another scenario, like you have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and I want to know that what would be the 100 number. Then I simply use the AP concept which I have learned in the last class, right? But if I say, let's say I ask you, I want to add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, then this seems easy because I can simply add them and I know this is equal to 10. But let's say I want to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and so on up to, let's say, 100. Then should I do manually? Isn't it that be not a good idea? Because see, if we add manually, then it will not work. So then what would work? Basically, the thing is that there might be some kind of formula or some kind of rule or a function, right? To define so that we can actually sum up the values, right? And here comes a twist. So yeah, definitely yes, we have a formula for the sum of the terms of an AP. What I'm saying to trying to say, that if we have n terms of an AP, so basically if they are in AP, the n terms, all the n terms are in the arithmetic progression, then we have the, what we have? We have the this formula for the nth term. So let me just explain you. So recall that what was the formula for the n term of an AP? We have a plus n minus 1d, where this an is the nth term, right? A is the first term and d is the common difference, right? D is the common difference. So see, we have, this is the case, right? Okay. So now basically so the formula for the sum of an AP is like n over 2 a plus an, correct? So we have the formula as n over 2 a plus an, and this can also be written as the formula a plus, now an we know already. See, an is what? An is this, right? So I can check that an, I put it the value here in this equation, and I got is equal to n by 2 2a plus n minus 1 times t, right? So this is how we can check the formula for the sum, which is denoted by Sn, right? Okay. So now let us see one by one about all the terms involved in the formula, which is Sn equals sum of the initial terms of an arithmetic sequence. Sum of the initial terms of an AP. A is, we already know, is the first term, and we know D is the common difference, right? And now most importantly, N would be the total number of terms in the sequence, right? So when we know, see, when we know the first term, when we know the common difference, when we know the total number of terms, we can apply the first formula, which is n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 d, right? But also there might be the case where you already also not directly known the common difference, but you know the first term and the last term. In that scenario, the Sn would become n over 2 a plus an, which is an is the last term or the nth term, right, of the sequence, right? Now we will basically now see that this is the formula. We know this formula, but doesn't it there might be some derivation, there might be some, that how the formula comes, right? How is the formula coming? So then there might be something, there might be some derivation for the formula. So now let us now proceed to understanding about the derivation of the formula, right? How does the formula comes? Correct? See, so very first step, we know that nth term of an AP, nth term of an AP is nothing but an equals a1 plus n minus 1 d, right? Correct. Yeah, so where this an, a1 is the first term, a1 plus d is the second term, and a1 plus 2d is the third term, right? And etc and so on, right? So what can I write? Actually, I can write Sn equals what? A1 plus a1 plus d, correct? Then I can write a1 plus 2d. Then I can write so on up to how much? A1 plus n minus 1 times d, right? So I can simply add up the things, right? Now this is the first equation. Now step 2. Step 2 would be, we can also write, see, we can also write the Sn. Sn can also be written as what? Sn can also be written as an plus an minus d plus an minus 2d plus how much? An minus n minus 1 times d, right? This is the equation 2, right? Now we have the equation 1, we have the equation 2. What we do simply, we simply add up the two equation. So I got twice of Sn would be n times a1 plus an, which is equal to Sn equals n over 2 a1 plus an. And then we know that an is nothing but a1 plus n minus 1d. So we can again substitute Sn equals n over 2 a1 plus a1 plus n minus 1d. Then I can simplify it as 2 ice of a1 plus n minus 1d, right? So this is how I got the formula for the summation of the sum of the nth terms, right? Now let us see some of the examples. Okay, so let us see the example. See, okay, so we need to find the sum. Find the sum of AP, which is negative 4, negative 1, 2, 5 up to 10 terms. What? Up to 10 terms, we need to find the sum. And there is a definite AP given. So what would be the strategy to solve the question? See, first of all, we need to identify certain things. The certain things is we need to identify that what would be the first term, what would be the common difference, what would be the last term, and then we are good to go with the formula, right? Or instead, if we and one more thing we need to find out is to find the total number of terms, which is 10 here, right? So what is the idea? I can write a1 equals negative 4. I can write n equals 10, right? So then using the formula, I got Sn equals n over 2. I got 2a1 plus n minus 1 times d, right? And I also know that from the sequence, d is what? Minus 1 minus minus 4, which is d is minus 1 minus minus 4, which is 3, right? So then I got d equals 3. So I got Sn equals 10 over 2, 2 times negative 4 plus 10 minus 1 times 3, and then solve, right? So you got 5 times minus 8 plus 27. So you got basically 5 times how much? 21, which is 95. Oh, so it should be 19. So the answer would be 95, right? This way we can find the sum up to n terms of the given AP, right? So what we have learned so far, just a recall, we have understood that how to define the sum of an AP, right? And then we have also defined that how to derive the formula for the sum of an AP. And then we have seen one of the question regarding to find the sum of an AP up to 10 terms, right? Now the next question. See, okay, see, so the next question. What we have find the sum of 7 terms of an arithmetic sequence, right? Whose first and last terms, whose first and last terms are 10 and 40 respectively. What we have given students? We have given that we have to find the sum of 7 terms of an arithmetic sequence whose first and last terms are 10 and 40. So we are giving number of terms in total basically 7. We are given that the first term and the last term is 10 and 40. Now what we have not given? We are not giving d directly. We have to find the sum. So we need three things. Number of terms which are already given. First term which is not given. But yeah, this is given. First term is 10 here and d is not given, but the last term is given and number of terms are given, right? So basically what I do, so I know what I know. I know that A1 equals 10 and I know that A7 is 40, correct? So I know A, but I know the first and the last term, right? And we know the formula for the sum, which is A plus n minus 1 times D, right? So if I know A plus n minus 1 times D, then I can reduce this formula to some other formula, which is A1 plus An, which is the sum of the first and last term divided by 2. So I know the formula would be n over 2 A1 plus An, right? And here this A7 is nothing but An, right? So I can write as n equals 7 over 2 10 plus 40. So as soon as I solve, I got 7 over 2 times 50, which is 25 times 7, which is nothing but 175, right? So what I got? I got simply the solution, right? Now let us do. Okay, so I hope the idea of some of the series is clear. We have firstly defined, let us recall all the things which we have done in the lecture. We have firstly we have firstly defined that what would be the nth term. Then we define the sum formula. Then we see that how do we derive the formula by making the two equations. One is for the increasing order and one is from the decreasing order. And then we just add up the equation and then find the formula for the sum. And then we have solved one of the questions, right, regarding the AP, which is given and by finding the last and the first terms. And then we have solved another question, which is the first and the last term. So I hope you understand the concept of the sum of an AP, right? What is an AP? We have discussed in the first lecture of our video lecture, the first part. Then we have seen in the second part some of the practice questions of the AP. This is the third part. We have seen about the sum of the series. Coming up the fourth lecture, we will be going to practice more and more questions on the sum of the series, right? And then we will move forward to understanding some another concept in the course of the 10th grade ICSE curriculum. I hope you like the video. I hope you understand all the things. So just keep watching, keep subscribe the channel, subscribe for more such updates. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Good day.